Hi everyone, it's Tuesday, July 8th, and the DOJ has released its information that Epstein took his own life, and also there's no client list, there's no information. There's nothing to see here. Absolute fucking bullshit. I think we already realized that. You got shills like Ben Shapiro going, I absolutely believe this. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who I really respect, came out and said that there's nothing to see here. So I believe that. The moron that got the shot because he believed what the government was telling him would like you to know that he also believes this hook, line, and sinker. So for the rest of us who aren't morons, who aren't paid shills, or aren't in on the take or whatever it is, we all realize that this is bullshit. So let's look at a little bit of the information that they released and then go from there. So here we go. Jeffrey Epstein had no client list. Died by suicide, DOJ and FBI conclude. Right, we have no idea the people he was working with. Despite the fact that he had video recorders in every one of his rooms, knew all the people, they can be identified by video. The Justice Department and FBI say they found no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list. There's nothing to see here. Contradicting Attorney General Pam Bondi's past suggestion that a list from the convicted sex offender and the financier existed. A review of Epstein materials in the U.S. government's possession also found no evidence of the Epstein blackmailed prominent people as part of his actions, or that he was murdered while in custody, according to a memo released July 7th detailing the agencies. This is the other day. The memo, first reported by Axios, comes after President Trump's supporters have pushed for the administration to release details about Epstein's associates after Trump, during the 2024 presidential campaign, endorsed doing so. Bondi, when asked about releasing an Epstein client list during a February Fox News interview, seemed to confirm there was a list. It's sitting on my desk right now to review, she said. But White House press secretary, stuttering Caroline Leavitt, said in her news brief, she can never fucking, she forgets everything she's fucking done. And then everyone fucking loves Caroline Leavitt. She can't get through one fucking sentence. I'm an amateur asshole with a podcast, and I can speak clearly through one sentence of getting through things. And she's like, in her news briefing July 7th, that Bondi's remarks had referred to the entirety of all the paperwork in the Epstein case, not a list of Epstein's clients. Oh, we weren't quite serious about what we weren't clear about what we were saying. It was paperwork about the Epstein. It was his tax returns. It wasn't actually his clients. They committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that, Leavitt said. That's transparency. No, it fucking isn't. You just fucked the entire country and world over. That's not transparency. The Justice Department and FBI said it found no evidence to prompt an investigation into uncharged third parties in the Epstein case. Despite various conspiracy theories about Epstein's death in federal prison in New York, the FBI concluded he died by suicide on August 10th, as initially determined by New York City's medical examiner in past investigations. You know you can always trust those medical examiners. The conclusion is supported by video evidence of the prison unit where Epstein was housed. By the way, I've seen the video. There's 2 minutes of time missing on it. It jumps 2 minutes. What happened in that 2 minutes? Which it plans to release to the public online. They've already done that. Confirms that nobody entered any of the tiers in Epstein's housing unit from the time his cell was locked at 10:40 until around 6:30 a.m. That's not true. It showed like 2 different fucking guys walking through. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims, the memo says. Then why the fuck aren't you doing it? Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends. To that end, while we labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. The memo says the FBI reviewed more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence during digital searches of the database's hard drives and network drives. It also conducted physical searches of lock cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas, mom's basement, the old car you took off the road. What the fuck are you talking about? From the Epstein investigation had been stored. The Epstein files include large volumes of images of Epstein and victims who were minors, who were with the minors, or appeared to be minors, according to the memo, as well as 10,000 videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Were the videos of the kids alone? Or were people there? Why aren't we exposing the adults who were there? Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and would not permit the release of child pornography. No one wants child pornography. They're trying to act like, well, to protect these children, we're not going to release it. You could blur them out entirely, so you can't know what type of kid, not color, not race, nothing, and out the adult that is in the room with them. This we're not going to show child pornography thing is fucking bullshit. Identify the people that were there, and they're not willing to do it. I don't know if this is a one of those too big to fail scenarios. Anyone that's familiar with that? You heard Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian, and others talk about businesses that are too big to fail, right? Their business model has been bad. They've made bad investments. They're about to go out of business. So we, the government and the taxpayers, have to come and bail them out so they can keep running. They can stay in the green. Because if they fail, thousands of people will lose their jobs. The small businesses they're invested in will also fail, and the U.S. bonds and other things they have will all go bad too, and they'll have to be paid back or wiped out for it. This is like the too big to fail Epstein edition, whereas too many high profile, powerful people are involved. I think at one point there were rumors of the Saudi royal family potentially being involved. I say allegedly because I don't remember. That was just some of the rumors. So then politically you've got, if you out them, then we lose diplomatic relations with Saudi. Gas prices soar. You have a harder time of peace in the Middle East if they're not participating with what's going on. J.P. Morgan and Chase Bank was proven to be working with Epstein. I did a story on it. They were fined for handling his money, but not handling it properly. They were doing it, illegally, kind of on the down low. They weren't following proper procedure in holding his money or moving it around. And they ended up receiving a large fine for doing that. So J.P. Morgan and Chase Bank, at least on the business level, was working with Jeffrey Epstein. And who knows if their upper echelon were involved with him on a more personal level. So we've got a situation where they're unwilling to release this information. They're unwilling to have these people exposed because of potentially the damage it can do to our economy, to negotiations around the world. I don't know what it is. And then P. Diddy getting off on all the charges too. So as long as you're a rich, high-profile pedophile, womanizer, raper, and abuser, but you've got the money and the connections and everything else to do all this, you're fine. You're going to be let off the hook. And I don't know, the bullshit binder thing, when Jack Sobiak and DC Drano and the others were invited to the White House, given that bullshit binder that was full of information we all already knew about. I don't know if these guys were in on it or they got bamboozled. I really don't know which one it is. But and then that was phase one, right? And now phase two is there's nothing. We didn't even have to have phases. It was just bullshit. This is fucking, it's bullshit. And this will, and by the way, he died in 2019, by the way. So it's not just the Trump administration here that is involved with this. This cover-up within the government has been going since 2019. And by not taking action against Diddy, not taking action against the people that are on Epstein's client list, this is a rubber stamp for these fucking scumbags to do this forever. The people that are in charge now and the ones that will step in to take their place after it's all over. This is a rubber stamp for them to keep harming women and keep harming children. And they're going to get away with it again, and it's fucking bullshit. The excuses, this release, the whole thing is fucking bullshit. It's not a conspiracy theory. He has a client list. You can identify the people on video. Why aren't they facing responsibility for their actions?